How impressive was his win today?
Well, not even how impressive was Denny Hamlin's win. How impressive was this race? Like, oh my gosh, what a race! I mean, I've been a fan of NASCAR since I was a little kid. This felt like I was watching a race from the early 2000s. I had an absolute blast watching this. The tire management, you had guys slipping and sliding. These cars were so hard to drive. You had Ty Gibbs, who I don't think had really ever experienced a proper tire management race before, lead a ton of laps in this race. We're going to talk about him more later. But yeah, Denny Hamlin getting the win. He was my pick a winner. I was also picking him for my fantasy for my podcast. Like, I had a feeling he'd win, but I didn't think it'd be this exciting of a race. Like, I was excited for Bristol Concrete to be back in the spring, but wow, did it exceed my expectations. I don't know exactly what they changed. I know Bristol has the intermediate package now instead of the short track package, but today this tire Goodyear brought put on a heck of a show, and Toyota especially just really, really had the best tire management, it seemed. And the veterans. It was Keselowski, Truex, and Hamlin were one, two, three for quite a lot in this race. So, I mean, you needed to know how to save your tires. We haven't seen that in quite a long time. But yeah, Denny Hamlin comes out on top today. Just excellent drive from him and excellent battle holding off Truex at the end with all the lap traffic. Just so much positive to say about this race. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think it was Jeff Gluck that actually pointed that out. The three oldest drivers in the field, Hamlin, Truex, and Keselowski, finishing 1, 2, 3 today. I don't think that was any coincidence. And I also pointed out as well, I know he fell back a little bit towards the end, like you were mentioning, Joe, but Josh Berry up in fourth there towards the end of the race. I mean, think of how experienced he is on short tracks. I know he's a Cup Series rookie, but how many late model races has he run on short tracks where he's had to take care of his tires? I think it was no coincidence that he was up there running towards the front at the end of the race as well. But totally in complete agreement with what Alex said. We can't talk enough about how fantastic of a show that was. I've never prayed harder for a green flag run in my life. It was absolutely incredible watching these drivers do something that they haven't had to do in a really long time, manage their tires. And Denny Hamlin and Joe Gibbs Racing as a whole, really, there was one point where they were running first, second, third, and fourth. I picked Ty Gibbs to win this race for my pick a winner. I thought I was looking like I was going to be in pretty good shape there. And today might be the day that he gets his first win. But again, I know we'll talk about him a little bit more later. I'm sure his day's coming. But Denny Hamlin ran an absolutely phenomenal race and really put on a great show. And, again, I'm sure the crowd had some detractors at the end of the race. It's going to be interesting to see if this influences the good race poll a little bit. The fact that one of the villains of our sport, I guess you could say, won the race. I hope it doesn't take it down that much. I think this race might set a new record on that poll. So we'll just have to wait and see. But Denny Hamlin thoroughly impressive today, and once again, we'll see. He's always been somebody that the last several years we've talked about. Like, is this finally going to be the year he breaks through and wins the championship? Still a long way to go, but the first step is done now. He's in the playoffs, assuming we don't have something even crazier happen, and if we get more than 16 winners.